Hello and welcome on board this informative weekend edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm your host, Theodore Henry. Thanks for joining us. Inside today's pages, shelter, business, and your well-being. Stick around, you don't want to miss any of it.
Public passenger vehicle operators and commercial carriers. Renew your road license online. It's as easy as 1-2 click. Visit the Transport Authority website at www.ta.org.jm. Choose your license type and click Apply Now. Sign in or create an account with your email address and complete the application process, uploading all relevant documents. Make payment using a debit or credit card. Once your application is approved, the Transport Authority will email you to collect your sticker. Pick up your sticker in office or utilize our courier service. Once the sticker is collected, your digital road license will be emailed to you. For more information, call the Transport Authority toll-free at 888-991-5687.
The following is brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
Your government is empowering you through education, training, and development. That is why we have removed all fees for every Jamaican accessing training through the Heart NSTA Trust. So, whatever you desire training in, food and hospitality, beauty and cosmetology, housekeeping and hotel management, welding, carpentry, masonry, or any of the dozens of programs Heart offers, you can enroll completely free and change your life. We are building Jamaica.
The proceeding was brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
So glad you're still with us, because if you are in the business of producing or looking to offer your products and services to the global marketplace, you're in for a treat. We begin today's journey by exploring Export Jamaica, the online gateway to global trade. The Jamaica Trade Board is managing this platform that delivers market intelligence and compliance information, tools, and other resources you will need.
As Jamaica sets sight on exceptionally increasing exports to the world, this strategic objective is being supported by a rebranded Trade Board Limited. This agency in the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce has also launched a transformative trade tool dubbed Export Jamaica to make it easier for Jamaican goods and services to enter the global marketplace.
It's a groundbreaking global market intelligence and compliance gateway. At the Trade Board Limited, we have long recognized that many potential exporters consider the task of finding markets and counterparts overseas daunting, and some believe the process of exporting is too complicated to try. Our two initiatives are geared to solve these two problems.
The new online trade information platform aims to revolutionize the landscape for Jamaica's potential and existing exporters by advancing trade opportunities and fostering economic growth.
The Jamaica Trade Board's adoption of a new name and logo serves as a laudable testament to their commitment to fortifying trade services with Jamaican businesses. This strategic rebranding initiative represents more than a symbolic change. It signifies a profound dedication to adapting and enhancing trade services to meet the evolving needs of the business community.
It is providing the catalyst for businesses to succeed by bridging the gap between buyers and sellers from Jamaica to the world.
With timely, accurate, and actionable market insights. Whether you are a seasoned exporter seeking new markets or an aspiring entrepreneur taking your first step, this gateway will be your trusted companion.
Exploring new markets is one of three main categories encapsulating more than 21 modules that are driving the Export Jamaica Gateway platform. These include the Best Country to Trade module, which uses country profiles, import and export details, statistics, and other associated information to help persons determine where and who to sell over 5,000 different products.
The second category engage businesses, this section utilizes a collection of different databases to discover potential trade partners and marketplaces in your desired region, along with valuable resource for facilitating international trade.
This engaging business category also provides a counterpart module search tool to help persons identify over 1.5 million companies listed worldwide and specific products they import or export. A database of business directories covers more than 1,800 business directories from around the world. Professional associations and trade shows are also available, along with a marketplace module that gives access to a database of over 510 marketplaces, as well as a module with tenders from around the world that Jamaicans can use.
The third category, customs and compliance, where users are able to obtain information needed to manage their shipment and comply with rules and regulation in the target country, as well as find the applicable duties at the product level.
All necessary documents to authorize the departure of goods from one country for entry into another are identified on the gateway for all parties involved in the trade and transit process. A blacklist counterpart database is there to help exporters know whether a company or individual has been placed on any official list of parties sanctioned or banned from foreign trade transactions around the world. Not only does the Export Jamaica Global Gateway provides help to existing and potential exporters, it also supports local manufacturers and producers seeking to source raw material for their production and the government involved in the export process. Export Jamaica helps with the requirements to get exporters into target markets.
On the gateway, we have also saw the need where there was need for additional tools to support the information that was provided. These tools would include a landing cost calculator, which is a tool to calculate duties, import taxes, transportation and insurance charges for importing of goods into any country around the world. There's a selling price calculator, which is a tool to determine the selling price of a specific product, including all the necessary costs related to exporting.
The revolutionary trade platform is giving Jamaican businesses access to market trends, insights, regulatory updates, and other trade intel, meticulously adopted and customized to meet local needs.
Which contains over 25,000 industry and country-specific market reports and industrial insights.
Jamaican exporters are also set to benefit from an online export academy, a Q&A type facility.
Export Jamaica is not just a tool, it is a promise of efficiency, transparency, and global reach. Let us use Export Jamaica to unlock new horizons, find and make good use of export opportunities, and elevate Jamaica's export landscape.
Persons can access the Export Jamaica Gateway by going to the URL tradeboard.gov.jm/Export Jamaica, or by clicking on a link accessible on the Trade Board's website to create a profile and register.
Once submitted, the Trade Board will then verify this information against the company's office database just to verify that this is actually a benefit that we are giving to the Jamaican population.
Between January 1, 2023 and December 31, 2023, were you a parliamentarian or a public official acting or appointed to a position listed in the Jamaica Gazette? Well, you are required to file a statutory declaration of assets, liabilities, and income as at December 31st, 2023, and any outstanding statutory declaration on or before March 31st, 2024. Get the new statutory declarations form from our website. Find out more from your Human Resource and Administration Division.
If you were watching the Prime Minister's budget presentation Thursday evening, you heard him announce that the NHT is starting over 15,000 housing constructions this year. There are special loan programs to make your home energy smart. Other initiatives are making sure young professionals have a fair shot at home ownership. These and other plans may have you heading to the NHT to find out what's available to you and get started on that home ownership journey. We're here to help with some first step things to consider.
Now is the time to build house. Now is the time to buy house. Now is the time to make that critical investment in your life.
If you're thinking of answering the Prime Minister's call, look no further than the National Housing Trust, NHT.
The NHT is following the mandate that they have been given, which is build house, build house, build house, and don't stop build house.
That's right. Since 1976, the National Housing Trust has been providing affordable housing solutions to Jamaicans. Established through an amendment to the National Insurance Act of 1976, the trust was formed by way of partnership between the government and public sector workers. The aim? To increase the housing stock available while providing financial assistance to the neediest contributors. Persons are able to build, buy, or repair their homes through the NHT by making contributions. That is, funds are deducted from one's pay in this revolving loan scheme.
Since 1976, we are proud to say that we've housed well over 200,000 Jamaicans and provided well over 100 housing schemes across Jamaica.
Persons may realize their homeownership dreams with the NHT by two main avenues. First, the trust develops housing units or serviced lots. The NHT also provides mortgage financing for Jamaicans seeking to build or buy houses, purchase land, or make repairs on existing homes.
While we're not a regulator, we have different partnerships between developers, between contractors, between financiers in the market as well to see how best we can improve the overall aesthetics and the overall housing product, whether it be public or even private as well.
As a result, contributors can combine funds received from the NHT with that of private financiers. And the trust has also entered into agreements with developers to give even greater access to home ownership. In addition to partnering on the construction of houses, NHT makes lands available for developers to build houses.
One of our newer programs that we are particularly proud of is our Guaranteed Purchase Program, GPP for short, where we actually liaise with developers who have projects themselves that they have built and have brought out of the ground or they are about to do construction on. And what the NHT does in those instances is the NHT buys the units from the developers and make them available to our contributors. And we think it's a good one because it's a win-win-win situation because the developers win, they are good at building. And so they're able to do it at a faster pace, but they are not good at selling. They're not marketers. And the NHT, as you know, has a ready market, so the NHT can take those from the developers. The mortgagers win because they get these units at NHT's preferential interest rates as opposed to buying them on the open market. And the NHT wins because we get the actual units that we know our contributors want.
If you're thinking of realizing your homeownership dream with the NHT, think on these things.
Once you're a contributor, the NHT will assist you. So we always say start with the NHT, but really and truly it involves research. And we find that persons sometimes jump into the housing business and then they get frustrated after a couple weeks or a couple months because they're not quite prepared as to what to expect. So we say come in, sit down, have a conversation with us, see what the loan products are, see what the interest rates are, see what your general mortgage options are. You may want to buy, but in that discussion you realize that you have some piece of land that has been passing through your family and there's a title for it. You probably want to build instead because that could turn out much cheaper than actually having to buy. So start with that conversation with the NHT, and our officers, they are always well equipped to guide you through the process. As you go through the process, there are different requirements, whether you're building or you're buying, that you will have to satisfy. But generally we want to know that you're able to afford a mortgage. So we will look at your affordability, which is a big part of it. We have a one-stop shop where you can just partner with any of the other institutions, and we facilitate that process for you as well. So do the research, see where you are, see what the options are, and just come in, have a conversation with the NHT, have a conversation with your realtor, have a conversation with your mortgage provider, and just stick to the process. It generally takes about 90 days. So manage those expectations and ensure that you hire competent professionals to guide you through each step of the process, whether you're building, whether you're buying a house or you're buying land. Ensure you hire, can't stress that enough, qualified, competent individuals to guide you.
For further information on NHD products, be sure to visit nhd.gov.jm or your local parish office. Contact customer care, We Care at nhd.gov.jm or call 876-929-6500 to 9. Your housing dream might just be a call away. Know your numbers and control the keys to a healthier heart. Know the numbers for your blood pressure, cholesterol level, blood glucose level, and your weight and body mass index. Find out the risks they represent and what you need to do to stay healthy. Talk to your doctor and start making healthy lifestyle choices to prevent a heart attack or stroke.
Children are the future, and ensuring our future is healthy requires that children are always provided with nutritious foods to grow well and live long. Unhealthy diets high in sugar, salt, and fat consumed by children may make them obese and prone to non-communicable diseases later in life. Healthy foods and beverages not only help them learn better, but also protects them from non-communicable diseases such as some cancers, diabetes, hypertension, and cardiovascular diseases in their childhood and adult life. So, whether it's at home, in the lunch bag, or at school, let's make healthy foods and beverages for our children the only rule.
Diabetes is a common illness within our population, and while there is no cure, it very much can be treated and managed. Here are some health-wise tips for properly treating and managing a diabetic condition to maintain longer, healthier lives.
Diabetes is a serious chronic lifestyle disease affecting millions of people over the world and continues to increase. Diabetes affects how your body turns food into energy. It is a disease in which your blood glucose or blood sugar levels are too high, and glucose comes from the food you eat. Insulin is a hormone that helps the glucose get into your cells to give energy. Sometimes your body doesn't make enough or any at all, doesn't make any insulin, and so it doesn't use the insulin well. Glucose then stays in your blood and doesn't reach your cells. Over time, having too much glucose in your blood can cause complications. Example, situations with the kidney, heart disease, and so on. Although diabetes has no cure, there are steps you can take to manage your diabetes and stay healthy.
It is through lifestyle that we manage the risk of diabetes. Those behaviors include increased physical activity, a healthy diet, routine health checks, and strict adherence to medication. The ministry will be championing the cause of persons living with diabetes. We have updated our clinical management guidelines, which is now available on our website, and we will be working on increasing access to testing through the introduction of point-of-care testing. This methodology of testing is the gold standard for monitoring and control of diabetes. Our agency, the National Health Fund, will continue to support persons through the provision of diabetic medication and supplies, and I encourage persons with diabetes to enroll in the NHF card program to access this benefit.
person with diabetes should really have an opportunity to sit down with a trained clinician who is able to help them to understand the concepts of diabetes self-management, education, and support. There are 4 core areas the patient must begin to understand. How and when to take medication. That's the first one. If you take insulin, then you need to know how does your insulin work and how do you eat in relation to the insulin. Then there are the people who have type 2 diabetes, which commonly start off with education on activity and just healthy nutrition. And then we add 1 of 5 classes of oral agents. And then we teach them how to make food, how to eat food. Also, we think of things like target blood pressure. Is your weight healthy, or do you need to lose a little weight? And most importantly, how do you feel? What is your quality of life? All of this is what we focus on. Also, when you get your lab work done, what is your hemoglobin A1C? The target should be 7% or less. Keep that number in your mind. Diabetes damages the feet, the kidney, and the eyes at first, and then eventually we also find it can cause coronary vascular disease too. But for foot care, the person with diabetes every day, you wash your feet, wash them properly. Dry your feet, dry between the toes. Moisturize your feet, but do not put moisturizer between the toes. Make sure that you wear cotton socks, right? If you're going to have your toes cut by somebody trained who knows how to cut them. Examine your feet every day. Do not walk barefoot. Please, please, please do not walk barefooted, because if you injure or cause trauma to the feet, you may not feel it because your diabetes has damaged the nerves to the feet. And finally, when you buy shoes that are comfortable and that you can wear without causing blisters or trauma to the feet. Now we have research that shows that I can prevent the eye damage, the kidney damage, the foot damage, and the amputations by just keeping my blood glucose under control and taking care of myself.
There's no such thing as a diabetic diet, but it's all about how much I eat, the timing of my meals. So it's your portion sizes is what is important. Now, what we do recommend is that persons eat at least 3 balanced meals per day and small snacks. Snacks usually mean smaller, more nourishing meals, which we usually recommend that it be your fruits, your vegetables, or you can also use your nuts. Each meal or snack should contain protein because we need it to be balanced as well. Each meal should contain at least your protein and your fat, and we also want them to select a variety of foods from all the food groups. So there is some recommendations about the amount of fruits that you should eat per day. We usually say 2 to 3 servings. We want you to include a variety of vegetables daily. We also want you to include more peas, beans, and nuts in your daily meals. Reduce your intake of salty and processed foods, and to reduce your intake of fats and oils, and that of sugary foods and drinks. You aim for foods that have high sources of fiber, such as your whole wheat bread, whole grain rice, flour. More if your ground provisions, they will give you fiber, right? And that will slow down the rate at which your body breaks down the food, so you won't have a rapid increase in your blood sugar levels versus if you eat foods that are low in these added fibers. When you're having alcohol as a person living with diabetes is not to have it on an empty stomach, because it gives the risk of lowering your blood sugar. And also what we want you to do is that once you have diabetes, we do not really recommend the mixed drinks, so as to say, because they usually have a sweetened base. For women, it's usually you can have a drink per day, and for men is no more than 2 drinks. And what is a drink? Usually for beer, it's not more than 12 ounces. And for like a shot, is usually a shot, which is about 1.5 ounces. And for wine, recommendation is usually about 5 ounces thereabout.
There are several researches that have shown that physical activity, when done properly, for persons who are diabetic, again, you heard it, allows you to use up
glucose. For children, the recommendation is at least 60 minutes, 5 days a week of moderate to vigorous activity, and it must be a combination of muscle and bone strengthening activity. That's the recommendation for our children. For adults, it's at least 30 minutes, 5 days a week to get some health benefit, meaning increased circulation, reduced stress. And for the elderly, it's at least 30 minutes, 5 days a week. If you're a diabetic patient, these are some of the activities that are very good for you. Swimming, jogging, dancing, these activities, they're not very vigorous. You know, you maintain them at a low to moderate pace, and it's a very effective way of managing and controlling your blood glucose or your blood sugar. If you are going to start a physical activity program, that you check with your doctor before you start, because if you have a condition, if you're diabetic, hypertensive, you have any other medical condition, your doctor will determine the intensity level, the type of activities that you can do.
Persons living with diabetes mellitus have multiple psychosocial issues related to diabetes management and its complications even before COVID. And there's an entity called diabetic distress, which refers to the negative emotions such as feeling hopeless, angry, or frustrated that persons who are diagnosed with diabetes experience, especially if they lack social support. I must mention we have the mental health helpline, which is 888-639-5433, or simply remember 888-NEW-LIFE, which is a 24-hour, 7 days per week psychological support produced by psychologists. When you call this number, they can provide emotional support for you. If you are feeling any form of emotional distress, they can provide support for you, and where you need additional help, they will direct you to additional help.
This is where we leave you on today's edition of Jamaica Magazine. Be here on this station tomorrow for more information you can use to transform your life. Until then, visit our website, jis.gov.jm, for this and other offerings. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Theodore Henry. Remember, live good and take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.